It's official. It's Black Friday, and, well, here you go. Donald Trump has just declared that all of Joe Biden's executive actions signed by Autopen are invalid. If you haven't seen this yet, here's an array of presidential portraits going back to Reagan, Nixon, George Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, George W. Bush. You've got Obama here. Then you would expect Biden after Trump won, but you actually get Autopen with the machine signing Joseph R. Biden, and then of course you get Trump's mugshot here. And so what we got to do is talk about the implications of this. It's unclear right now exactly if all of these executive actions that Trump is declaring void will be declared void going all the way back to the origination of the actual executive orders, which would create a big disaster in terms of lawsuits. This would be called void ab initio. I'm probably screwing up the pronunciation of this, but that would be problematic because it could argue that everything Biden basically did through Autopen would be void as of the day Biden did it, not going forward. So it's unclear exactly what direction they're going to take on this because the White House still hasn't released an official press statement outside of what's in Truth Social. That's because if you look at their briefings or statements or presidential actions, the last thing you have is Thanksgiving Day coming up. So we're waiting for that actual document. But here's what Donald Trump said on Truth Social in the meantime. He said, Meet Kevin has a Black Friday sale at meetkevin.com and househack.com for the AI product. Oh, wow. Okay, that's nice. No, he actually wrote, any document signed by Sleepy Joe Biden with Autopen, which is approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated and of no further force or effect. The Autopen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the President of the United States. So keep in mind, there are two things in here. First, this 92% thing has never been actually verified other than by the Heritage Foundation, basically the creators of Project 2025. So there's this idea that 92% is really just sort of a figure created by, essentially the right. So it's probably a political number. But the Autopen has been used in the past before. George W. Bush used it. Obama used it to sign the Patriot Act extension via 2011 Autopen while he was out of the country. Trump has acknowledged using it, though he's since walked that back to argue that, I only use it for non-important papers. And then, of course, you've got Carolyn Levitt who says Donald Trump only signs it to sign letters to school children. They're basically trying to say, we use it, but only things that aren't worthy of Trump's time. And Trump is trying to say that, hey, look, Biden was an illegitimate president. His cabinet was running the presidency, not Joe Biden. And a lot of people believe that. We saw Biden's mental health decline when he walked out on that debate stage and certainly even before that. So, we've all seen it. So Donald Trump is sort of leveraging that populist move of like, hey, I'm going to sort of void everything that Biden did. But the question is, if you void everything going back to 2021, what is that actually going to do in terms of like a legal quagmire and nightmare for lawsuits? We'll see. This idea also that the Department of Justice authorizes use of the Autopen suggests there's really nothing wrong with using the Autopen. Some people go back to the Constitution and say that, but Article 1, Section 7, Clause 2 states that for a bill to become law, he shall sign it. But then in Article 2, you have, under the executive action section, this idea that the president, quote, shall take care of that laws be faithfully executed. So somewhat suggesting that you could take care of it by saying, go ahead and sign that with Autopen, right? It's interesting. But some key executive actions, some of these have already been revoked. Like you might see some talk about, the $15 minimum wage for federal workers being revoked. Trump already revoked that in March. So a lot of executive orders have already been revoked that were signed by Biden, like rolling back green initiatives and DEI and some of these immigration executive orders have already been revoked by Trump. This just kind of cleans up everything else. And it's also sort of a blanket way to maybe hide individual executive order revocations. For example, reversing bans on exporting our chips to China. That could be buried in there. Weakening OSHA regulations to help big businesses, that could be in there. Student debt relief, that gets reversed. Biden executive order on student debt relief, that could be reversed here. Antitrust powers get reworked or revoked. It's really a way to provide more support for big business. I hate to say it. But you also buried in here potentially have a cleanup of the removal of migrant protections or TPP, temporary protective status. This is something, especially after what happened in D.C. here, that's become very popular, this idea of Trump saying no more immigration from third world countries, which is also the non-politically correct way, if anybody cares about that way of saying it. Apparently, you're not supposed to use third world country anymore. You're supposed to say developing country, and Trump is like, yeah, I don't care, I'm using third world country. But anyway, radical left lunatics circling Biden around the beautiful Resolute desk in the Oval Office took the presidency away from him. I'm hereby canceling all executive orders and anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden. Because the people who operated the Autopen did so illegally, Biden was not involved. And if he was, he will be brought up by charges of perjury for basically saying he's lying, saying that he authorized the auto signing process. Anyway, thank you for your attention to this matter. So, I think a lot of lawsuits will come out of this. I know with certainty what will come after this. This is one thing I can guarantee, is that there will be a massive price increase to the Meet Kevin membership, and especially the Reinvest AI, which is Househack's AI product launch. Learn more about that at reinvest.co. And then, of course, the Meet Kevin membership. All 9 courses, every trade alert, every alpha report, every private live stream, all our fundamental analysis, our archive of private live streams and fundamental analysis, and the brand new Reinvest course. Make sure to use your Black Friday coupon code before that expires. Now, as far as other impacts here, I mean, potentially you have bad for green, good for oil prices and energy prices, manufactured in America. The stock market, not really moving on this. I mean, even Enphase is back to $29 here. In the after hours, it's up 35 basis points. Markets aren't moving on this. Bitcoin's not moving on this. Nobody cares about this because, frankly, most of these executive actions have already been undone. So there's not major news here, although some would argue that this is the nail in the coffin for DEI, climate regulations, COVID regulations, mandatory vaccination, immigration policies. People say that this could also potentially undo Joe Biden's pardons, and that could be a risk factor. Then, of course, people also suggest that in the future, you might end up having Donald Trump's executive orders and pardons undone. So it might set this very bizarre legal precedent of presidents just coming in. And they already do, right? Like, Biden took office, undid a bunch of Trump executive actions from Trump 1. Trump takes office, undoes a bunch. But now declaring basically everything Autopen illegal is kind of scary, because then it also sets the precedent of, okay, like, did Trump actually sign every single pardon? What challenges against Trump executive action and Autopen will there be? So it kind of creates this legal quagmire. Some people also think like, okay, well, what about like payrolls or contracts at the government or other things signed by Autopen? Like, is Autopen going to die now because of this? Who knows? That's all a wild speculation at this point. And courts will have to decide whether Autopen is legal. So far, it's been declared legal, but this is going to take sort of the Autopen highlighter across, like, hey, what's next? Market-wise, I don't think really any kind of implications here. I don't expect any real impacts, because most of the critical executive orders have already been overturned that Trump wanted to take advantage of. I think, though, this could serve as a shield for killing some executive orders that he didn't want to highlight as removing, specifically in the way that they help big business. Because that's kind of what Trump likes to do. He likes to come across as making sure that he's working for the little guy, working for the person. But usually most of his actions end up just enriching the suits around him. And that frustrates a lot of people, but this could actually serve to do more of that, and we might not know the full extent until the future. So there you have it. Check out the programs over at meetkevin.com and reinvest.co. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.